cannot believe that this person would talk to you that way. And I didn't know because I'm like still like a novice actor when it comes to like navigating the industry side.
Yeah.
Let's say. They're like, Brennan, if I was you at your stage in the career and I got that email, I would be on the fetal position in my living room, unable to move. Honestly, I think I was so
just shocked?
Like shocked and then just depressed. So
we're gonna read this email. Did you cry? I'd be crying.
It makes me question, what am I doing? But I've been wasting all this time and stuff like that. I'm not gonna apply some toxic positivity and be like, oh no, it's fine. No, that fucking sucked. You have to be able to be comfortable with disappointment. I'm still gonna feel myself as an artist because I still have moments where I can be creative. I can collaborate with people and like have that experience. The way that we get the way that we define success is not how it is for artists.
Welcome. Thank you for being on my podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, anytime. What were you doing before we met at TFS?
You're gonna laugh,
Oh, I hope so.
was modeling.
Really?
Okay,
Nice.
so how that happened was, I swear I thought I told you the story, but I haven't told you guys the story. I'll stop doing that. I swear.
No, please don't. You'll get a gig as like a TV host on a game show or something.
That's what
Is that your dream?
did I tell you this? No,
No.
I've just been told that I would be decent
You have an
at that.
excellent
I would be
voice
decent
for
at
it.
that, yeah.
The Price is Right Canada or something.
Or Big Brother host.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, you heard it here first. I get 10%.
I have the appearance of being friendly without actually being friendly. I feel like that's
all that's required, really.
That's in a good host, right? No, so I was at school in London, Ontario, and
So sorry.
I know.
Just kidding, London.
No, it was a great experience. Completely different career path.
What were you at school? Why? Where were you taking? Let's talk about the different career path. What were you going for?
Oh God, how honest should we get here? 'Cause this is
Really
gonna be-
honest.
It's gonna be super embarrassing. Hopefully this person doesn't watch this podcast and doesn't realize this, because I got to London, Ontario because it was after high school and I'm like, I don't know what I'm fucking doing. I don't know what I'm doing, like just
No one does.
wasting away at home. And then out of the blue, this girl I had a big crush on contacted me like out of the blue. And I was like, oh, hey, what's up with you?
I'm going to London. You're like, me too.
Yo, I'm not even kidding.
It's always for a girl.
I know, right? So she's like, yeah, I'm like going to Fanshawe. I'm going to be doing this stuff. I'm like on the phone, like on my computer looking up courses. What a coincidence. I'm taking general studies or sciences as well. Like, I guess like I'll see you up there. She's like, oh, that's like so great. Meanwhile, and like to be fair, there was nothing that she said or did. Listen, at that point in my life, girl says hi. I'm like,
She loves me.
she loves me. She wants to take me away from all of this. So
Take me away. Such a damsel in distress. I love it.
I know. So I'm like, I sign up, do all the things. And like, yeah, part of me is like, okay, I'm following this girl. The other part of me is like, oh, this is like kind of cool, like spontaneous thing. Anyways, so I get there and like we're in communication. She's like, oh yeah, you got to come meet like my like housemates and all this kind of stuff or whatever. I'm like, yeah, sure, it'll be fun. I go there. She's like living with a bunch of people. I'm talking to her. All of a sudden, I hear like this door open or whatever, and this like guy comes like bounding up the steps, like slaps her right on the ass and gives her a big kiss. And she's like, oh yeah, this is my boyfriend. I was just like, like this is so embarrassing. I don't know why I'm telling you this.
I love this.
So the fun, and like in that moment, instantly at first, I'm like, I want to die. Like I'm just like smiling, like I'm so happy for both of you.
Oh my
This is
God,
so
he
great.
seems really great.
The funny thing is, we actually became like friends.
No
like,
way.
Yeah, he was like really nice. I kind of was just like, well, I'm here now. I might as well make the best of it. All the people there, they were super great, super nice.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
good.
Yeah. So in the end, it was fine, but super embarrassing. So
That's hilarious.
last year or whatever, it was like a 2-year program or something like that, because I don't know what the hell I'm going to do with it. I was just like, oh yeah, this looks good. there was a class, globalization, and the teacher like was a great teacher and stuff like that, and kind of put me on this like path of interest of like politics and international law and stuff like that. So and they had a like transfer program like from Fanshawe to Western for, I think it was like the poli-sci program. And I was like, okay, this is interests me. This is like, I'll start doing this. And now at Western, and for whatever reason, stupid reason, my family, specifically my mom, they're like, Brennan, you should try modeling. And I'm like, that's what every mom says to their kid. Like, you're so handsome and beautiful. You should go and do like any girl would be so lucky to have you.
That's hilarious.
So, and I'm just like, shut up, you guys don't know what you're talking about. Like, this is so dumb. And they like would continuously push it. So finally, I'm like, I see like an ad or something. There's like a development agency in London, Ontario. I'm like, listen, I'm gonna go in there. I'm gonna have them tell me no, so that we can put this to rest, right? And I'm coming in after, it's like a class or something. I'm pretty sure I'm like in sweats, like no, what do you call it? Like no desire whatsoever, right? Like yeah. Maybe like food stains on my face. I like roll up in there. I'm like, what is this? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I remember going in and seeing the agent there, and I'm like, I explain. I'm like, yeah, listen, this is why I'm here. Da da da.
My mother.
And I remember to this day, she kind of leans back in her chair and she's like, I could work with this. I was like, is that a compliment?
Shut up.
And she's like, no. I'm pretty sure she also said, like, I'm sorry, this sounds so egotistical, but I'm certain she said as well, she's like, yeah, no, you've got like this, like Tom Cruise energy. It's like, I give off Scientology energy? It's like, great, okay. And then, so she just like explains a bit of, and I was like, all right, whatever, this will be fun to do like on the side.
Yeah.
So as I'm doing it, like booking like little stuff or whatever, and I just naturally am gravitating to the auditions and stuff like that is coincidentally not runway or anything like that, but it's like commercials. And she's like, listen, Brennan, you're doing well, like starting off okay. I feel like what you would be really best suited for and like what you would be going towards is acting. Like, I think that's like much better for you.
I think you could say words and look good.
Little did she know. That's how.
That's hilarious.
So I was like, okay, cool. She's like, I'd love to help you, but like, listen, my background comes from fashion modeling. This is like a development agency.
Right.
We're in London, Ontario, and this is like 1,000 years ago. She's
Yeah.
like, there's nothing here. If you really want to do this, she's like, you should go to Toronto, get some like proper training. I was like, okay, that's what I'm gonna do. And that's how I, ended up tragically at TFS. Because I'm in London.
Did you not look at other places? Did you look at other places at all? I shouldn't phrase it that way. Did you not think of anything?
Listen, Allison, I just finished telling you I went to a whole different city in school chasing this girl off of whim of hey, Brennan, how's it going? Like, the extent of my preparation for this, I'm pretty sure, was Googling like film schools in Toronto.
Yeah,
and then
essentially.
Me being dumb enough not to realize like they put the ads first. I'm like, oh, first one comes up, Toronto Film School. Let's go be good. Let's go be good, right? Listen, as much as
they made Google way after he was born.
Is this a roast or an interview? I don't know.
A little bit of both. You can tell we know each other.
Yes.
I don't do this to all my guests. Just so you know, if you're watching this for the first time thinking about being a guest on my podcast, I'm nice to people I don't know.
Run away. Run.
Anyway, yeah. So you
TFS was like, okay, this obviously is going to be great because it's looks, and
it looked pretty
the thing that they like say to you, like, we're going to teach you everything you need to know.
It's all very hands-on, no lectures. That's what got me. I was like, oh, me sitting in a room for an hour? I don't think it's going to happen anymore.
Not unless she's talking.
Yeah, not unless I'm talking. That's 100% true.
So, yeah, and that's how it happened. And then because I still had the agency I was with in London, Ontario,
right.
They were like able to get like auditions and stuff like that for me as I was in school.
Nice.
And so that's just kind of like how it happened. I was not, let's say, proactive enough as I should have been.
So your mother was right, is what we got from this.
Yes. Yes.
I'm gonna clip that and send it to her.
Perfect.
Find her.
Perfect.
Email.
You can't find her. You easily could.
It was like, I feel like there's people on TikTok who make it their specialty to find people.
Oh, it wouldn't even be that hard. like
Quick
you could
Google search. Brennan's mom. It's not even her name. Brennan's mom.
Comes up immediately. No, I mean through like the siblings I have and whatever.
Yeah.
Anyways, so yes, okay, I guess technically she was right, and joke's on her though because this is terrible to be successful.
It's not making any money.
This is not making any money. This is
it's hilarious. Joke's on her. She thought it would be a secure,
I know, right?
steady job.
It's like, just as long as you bring me to the Oscar carpets. And I was like, yeah, totally. I'm like, as a janitor, see, I brought you here.
Janitor.
See?
I made it, Mom.
I made it. You're on the carpet. But get off the carpet. I gotta sweep it.
I gotta sweep right there, actually. You need to get out of the way. You drop some crumbs. But yeah, that's hilarious. So that got you to TFS.
That got me to TFS. And then,
Nice.
met some fantastic people there.
Yeah.
I guess she's fantastic.
We weren't even friends till like years after, I feel like.
No,
I
that's not
barely
true.
knew you.
No. When I switched classes.
I wasn't in your class. We were ships passing in the night. I went
to waxing poetically.
Because I switched out of that class when classes all switched up. What I feel about TFS, and when people ask me about TFS now, I say like, it's one of those schools where, I mean, it's totally different now, so I have no idea what it is now, but it was one of those schools where you got what you put in, and
absolutely
none of us had the maturity level to put in anything of substance.
It was still like not certain things that I maybe would have redone, but I don't regret it.
Oh yeah, I don't
sincerely
regret it either.
Made great friendships.
Yeah.
Met some fantastic people. And it was a learning experience.
And I liked a bunch of the teachers there too.
Yeah. Oh,
again,
absolutely.
I just didn't put in the effort that was required.
It's true. And I'm pretty sure, I think it was Michael Ayub, literally said to us, was like, listen, you're going to get the most out of this of like what you put in.
Yeah.
That's where you got it from.
Sure. I don't know. Maybe I was like, I came up with that.
Listen, I steal all my stuff. I mean,
yeah.
Not really. No, I do though.
No, Cameron steals all my jokes and then thinks they're his.
Yes, because you forget.
And
I'm not like cataloging like, yes, Allison said this on, October 16th.
But you really should.
Listen, if anyone ever came back and was like, that was my joke, I'd be like, oh my God, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, 100%. I'd be like, oh, I probably just said it enough in my head that I then thought it was
Which
my own.
should not be surprising. I'm not nearly that funny as like certain people. It's like,
I just don't have memory.
Yeah. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, that's all right. Anyway, let's talk about your agent experience. Let's get into the nitty gritty here because I love the nit and I love the grit. So is it just the one agent that you
Yes.
with?
Okay, so yeah.
We're not going to name names here, mostly because I am under the firm belief of like agencies, what works for you might not work for me.
100%.
And that's fine. But
yep.
I think also a lot of people lie about being dropped from an agency. And I don't think there's shame in it.
No.
First of all, I think it's just like, it's like any relationship, right? And then you both feel like it's not working and one of you is then taking action on it. I don't think it's anything shameful. Doesn't mean you're terrible. No. Doesn't mean anything on you. And I think more actors would feel better about being dropped if we talked about how common it is being dropped by people.
It's so funny because I guess how would I? I don't interview other actors as much as you do, but I never would have thought that there was shame in it. In the sense, because
well, that's good. I hope I didn't plant that in your brain.
No, sincerely, because like you said, like I guess I was always under the impression that it's like about relationships, and sometimes like relationships don't work and they end.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I mean, in my case, it was probably harsher than most
Yeah, you got
people
dumped pretty
realize.
hard.
Yeah. So this was, I wish I could remember when I left from the original agency that I was at, and I was free agent. Like I didn't have any representation.
You left the modeling agency, and then and then you went to another one.
This person contacted me off of
Casting workbook.
I think it was either Casting Workbook or Casting Central or something like that.
Oh, okay.
They contacted me. They're like, hey, I see that you're not represented. I have a spot on my roster for someone who I'm pretty sure they said
who looks like you.
No. They were like, I need someone, like I have an opening on my roster for someone who like with your look, who can do like action roles and stuff like that. I'm like, on the phone, again, same scenario, on the phone, yeah, totally, booking private training at Good Life Fitness.
I love this. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, yeah, totally. Work out 7 days a week. Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, no problem. Let's continue to talk.
So funny.
And they were like, okay, so we'll do like a formal interview, because this is through emails. Did like a Zoom interview.
Yeah.
They both, like, from my impression, they were happy with what they saw. I was happy with what I saw. It's like, okay, great. So do the onboarding, all that kind of stuff. Then I started getting auditions, and a lot of them though were like comedic stuff. And I don't, like, on my resume, no training, like there's no Second City, there's no like anything like that, right? So I was like a bit of a head scratcher kind of thing. I was like, okay, this is odd.
And you're expecting action.
And I even said, I was like, I don't have any like stunt training or whatever, or anything like that. Like, oh no, that's fine. All of these answers probably should have clued me in, I think, that it was probably not the best fit, and in all honesty, I should have declined.
You always learn from the first.
But it was also the first time I had, like, one, had an agent representation, two, someone who like literally sought me out. I was like, ooh,
right?
Ooh, I'm special.
If anybody was like the first agent, when they're like, I'm interested in like meeting and representing you, I'm like, yep.
Like, I'm in. Let's go.
Someone
Let's do
wants
this. Someone wants me. I have validation.
Right? Made it.
And to be, I will say, like, listen, I'm not trying to excuse any of the things that happened, but just to give it context. So again, in addition to no comedic background, I'm not a technical person. So all the auditions I'm getting, because this is, I think, I can't exactly remember after, like, what period after COVID, but it's like where everything's self-tape.
Right.
So as you remember, because I think I relied on you a couple of times for like doing some of the auditions. So that whole technical aspect already was kind of throwing me through a hurdle, right? Which again, now looking back, is like, okay, this is skills that I'm going to need to like get better at and hone and stuff like that. So anyways, first audition, I can't remember what it was. I sent it into them, and I think that one was a dramatic one, I think. I can't remember. I blocked a lot of this out. But it was, listen, from everything I knew about what not to do, what to do and stuff like, this was a bad audition. In all honesty, I'm kind of surprised they didn't drop me like right there. It was that that bad. Like I totally own that. That was like a really, really bad audition that I shouldn't have sent in, but I was so eager to please, not thinking like an artist, not thinking of like how is the best way I can collaborate and like do something, you know what I mean?
But like doing what you think they want.
Exactly, which again, first major problem. So I send that in, they get back to me, they're like, listen, I'm paraphrasing here, but like this is bad, this is like quite bad. I'm not gonna be sending you up for like big roles for a little bit before we can like resolve this. Totally understand, that's okay. Then I start getting like a lot of the comedic stuff. That's like difficult for me to do.
Which is funny, because I think you're funny.
Yeah, maybe funny looking.
It's coming from the retired model.
Listen. You need models from every walk of life, okay? Sometimes you need the model of like, oh, he's a Kevin James type, hawking that paint. Yeah.
Kevin James type. I love it.
So getting more comedic roles, but still not not landing anything.
Right.
So then finally, and as I mentioned before, excuse me, they had said because the first audition went so bad, we're not gonna put you up for any like major big roles.
Right. Right.
I get this breakdown email, and it's like this like role is like it's like a fairly meaty role, like a principal, I guess you would call it.
Okay.
And I was like, redemption. I'm like, this is like,
They're trusting me.
They're trusting me. It's gonna have some good stuff. And I'm like, okay, I really gotta, nail this. Despite the fact that me reading the character and the audition, I, again, instead of thinking about,
Do I want to play this role?
or even would like people believe me in this role? Would, you know what I mean? Like, am I still not experienced enough that subject matter that is like very difficult for me, or that I feel like is wrong or whatever, because even in tragic stories, someone's got to play the bad guy or the bad thing for these tragic stories to get told. So they're obviously still very important roles. And I'm like, no, I'm going to redeem myself. I'm going to do this. And so, I was like prepping myself, and I should ask, I don't know if it's going to be problematic for you, because I don't even know if this thing got made, but it's like if I talk about like auditions and stuff like that, like if it's like copyright.
Yeah, I wouldn't say who it was for or anything.
No, but just
like,
the line.
the lines.
Yeah,
I would
because
just say it's a pervy line.
Okay, it is it is such a pervy line.
Borderline rapey.
That I feel like when my friend who's not an actor had to read it, I felt like she was gonna cringe into a singularity. Like it was
to a singularity.
Okay.
Anyway, it's just it was an uncomfortable role.
Yes,
to begin with.
Again, because if it's something that's so uncomfortable for me, I should have been able to had the like in a good way, the audacity to say no. You know what I mean? It's like that's okay for me to have passed on. Anyways, I didn't think it's going to be a redeeming thing, whatever. So I try my best on it and stuff like that. I send it in. They contact me and they're like, Brennan, I'm so sorry. As we mentioned, we're not going to be sending you up for like any big roles. I don't know why they would have sent this to you. And I was confused because I was like,
you sent it to me.
I'm pretty sure like that, you know what I mean? This wasn't like a unsolicited audition from like a casting director or stuff like that. I'm fairly certain
came from
they sent it to me, right?
agency.
So I'm like, are you not looking at the things that you send me? Like, I don't know how, like, I don't know what happened there or whatever, but I was like, great. Busted my ass for nothing. It's not the redemption or whatever. Probably in the end for the best, because probably not right for the role, whatever. It's like, okay, doesn't trust me yet. I'll keep going. Then I get another audition. I can't even remember what this one was for, but it was like also not a big one. That's when I get the email. I guess this person had a limit on the number of bombs that I could be sending in before they were like, all right, we got to pull the cord on this guy because this is not good. Now, as I mentioned to you before, when I told people this story, this email, other actors, other like people that I know, just so I could get a sense and be like, hey, is this normal? Like, is this the buzzsaw that I'm gonna like be going through? Like, all around they were like, that seems excessive. I distinctly remember one of my friends who, as I said, the one that helped me on the audition, that's not an actor. They have an actor friend who was in town, and I just happened to be telling my friend this story while they were staying with them. And I just met them, and they were like outraged on my behalf. Like, they're like, I cannot believe that this person would talk to you that way. And I didn't know because I'm like still like a novice actor when it comes to like navigating the industry side, let's say, right? So
we're gonna read this email.
So
from
I wanted to say this.
Agent.
Yeah, and again, I am not excusing like behavior. I'm not trying to like put some like toxic positivity on this or whatever. I'm just trying to frame this now for me as like a growth kind of thing.
Yeah,
and also,
yeah.
I don't know what they were going through that morning. I don't know, you know what I mean? Like there could be.
We're not blaming the agent. I think
No.
this is just
Listen.
something important that, like you said, you didn't know.
I didn't know.
Of
People.
how this email got received or whatever. I think it's important for other actors to also know that these things happen.
These things happen.
And
Full disclosure, my auditions were bad. They were bad, okay? I'm telling you, I hate doing self-tapes.
there's obviously there's obviously a disconnect and wrong things on both sides, right? It's
Yeah.
not like we're being like, oh, well, I'm the shit and this agent is obviously totally in the wrong and
Exactly.
like has no idea what they're fucking talking about.
Exactly.
We're not saying that.
No. I'm just saying, I feel like if I were in their position, maybe I would have been like,
It would have been a little bit nicer than this email.
it's not working out. Sorry, we're building the email up. Let me read this, okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to take advantage of the trial period I mentioned in our meeting and ask that we part ways at this time. See,
How long was the trial period?
this was like maybe
Like-
not long.
Like a 3-month thing?
Something like that.
Okay.
Yeah. Not long. And see, full stop there. Perfect. I'm okay. Right? I still.
That would have been good. Okay.
You don't have the experience or training necessary to be able to work in this industry, and I don't have the confidence in your skills needed to adequately represent you as an actor in this industry, nor the time and patience to devote to the process of bringing you up to the level expected.
Yeah, that cooks. That one hurts. That one hurts.
They also, I sincerely apologize that we couldn't make this work, but you just have too much work that you have to do.
He's like, again.
Cut to me crumbling to pieces.
Yeah.
Honestly, this was in the morning too. This was such a gut punch. I was like,
Well, no shit.
Shocked.
Like, I'd be crying. Did you cry? I'd be crying.
honestly, I think I was so
Just shocked?
like shocked, and then just depressed for like,
I also would have been in denial. I'd be like, did I get an email? Did I get an email?
No, but
I'd
then it
block
also
right out.
it makes me question, what am I doing? But I've been wasting all this
Yeah.
time and stuff like that. But then, like I said, there was someone that I read that email to that they're very much a pro. I think they've been in the business for like 35 years. It's like consistently working. I was like, hey, can I read you? They read it. They're like, Brennan, if I was you at your stage in the career and I got that email, I would be on the fetal position in my living room, unable to move.
Yeah.
And it made me feel better talking to a lot of the actors. We're like, whoa, that's harsh. You know what I mean? And again, like I said, I'm not going to apply some toxic positivity and be like, oh no, it's fine. No, that fucking sucked.
Yeah.
But I think it's more helpful for me to be able to frame that in a learning way, in like a growth way, and be like, you know what? This industry is full of shitty people. It's a very it's something that we love to do and that is a passion for us, that then has to be put through this sausage making commodification process where it's like, okay, now the passion and the art we do has to be packaged and sold. So there are definitely people out there that are just awful and suck, and that you're gonna bump into them, you know what I mean? So it's like, okay, I can now, have this growth of being like, okay, I know how to deal with people that are having a bad day, are stressed because the production that they're working on is, people's mortgages are on the line and their lives are on the line. So, they might not be the most diplomatic when it comes to
They may
conveying.
not care about my feelings when their bills aren't getting paid.
Can you do this better and faster and funnier and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, you know what? I'm gonna keep that email as a reminder to be like, okay, one, there's like a little part of me that is like, you know what? I'm gonna try my best to prove you wrong.
Oh, 100%. Light that fire.
To be fair, they were like, the time that it's gonna take. So it's like, I don't know. And this is the thing that I've
They don't know either, though.
They don't know either.
Yeah.
That's the point, right? It's like, they don't know
Something could click for you tomorrow.
You know,
that makes you way better than those tapes.
As I was saying about like any one show being the determining factor to what your success is, like that can't be it, because it's like I said, your hit show is gonna eventually end. You know, whatever movie you do might bomb, and whatever audition you do might be terrible. So it's like, it's easy for me to, you know, have gotten that email and then been like pack it in, right, and just be like, listen, I'm
I think a lot of people would,
which is understandable, and which I also think is like what makes, I think what you said is so important about talking about this kind of stuff, because for other people to know that A, it happens to a lot of people, B, it's nothing to be ashamed of, and C, even stuff like that, that's not even, you know, there was no real stakes attached to that. You know what I mean? Like getting
And you can't let one person dictate what's true for you. You know what I mean? Like, I think, and every time something like that, I had a class I took, and I told the acting teacher, who's like really well known, like LA acting teacher, and in one class I was like, I don't feel like an artist, so I'm taking these classes to like be more of an artist. She's like, well, you're not, and just like ripped into me after that. And then I was like, okay, thank you so much, and like ended the Zoom call and just fucking cried of just like, oh, all fears confirmed. But then Cameron was like, you know, every super successful person has had these moments. You hear the stories like countless times of like they were told or pulled aside or reamed out or dropped by agents, and they were all told no by someone at some point.
Yeah.
And yet they still did. So like if they just listened to that one person, they would never have become, right? And so you can't just listen to one.
No, it's true.
Person.
And even then, even like, because as you just shared, and for myself as well, it's like technically those are definitely more negative experiences when hearing no. And so I will preface this by saying this advice that I was given and heard was from who I think is like a very like, I look up to them a lot, and I feel like the lessons that they've like taught me are very, very important. But to that point, the no that we heard was like super devastating. But sometimes there's a no that you could hear that is like, you know, I don't want to use their story because I don't have like permission, but it's like, it could be circumstances that you have no control over, and that the person wants you, but for whatever reason they can't use you. And it's like, you know, I've been thinking of you for like so long, and it's, you know what I mean? Like it didn't work out this way. So it's like, you have to be able to be comfortable with disappointment, and you have to be able to be strong enough in your own, you know, this is going to sound like very like guru-y, but it's like comfortable and strong enough in your own self to be able to say, if you do hear that no, it's like, that's okay. That's not going to work in this direction that I'm going. You know, there's, you know, another direction.
I know, I really have to tell myself that of like, it's a no here because I'm going to be booking something over here and it would have been conflicting. Or like, I always am just like, it would have allowed me to do this always. Or like, there's a lesson over here that I need to learn.
Exactly.
For whatever, X, Y, Z, yeah.
And it's so easy, and like in those circumstances where it's like, oh, I could have ended up on this show that would have led to this or whatever, you know what I mean? So it's like, you like, in my belief, I think you got to be able to have those kind of no's, maybe not as severe and scalding as those no's. But just to be able to reframe them and be like, you know what, that didn't work. Those are like, you know, for whatever reasons those didn't work, that's okay. I still know and comfortable in myself that, you know what, if for whatever reason I never am able to book another audition role or anything like that, I'm still gonna feel myself as an artist, because I still have moments where I can be creative, I can collaborate with people and like have that experience. And to me, that's what's more important, because like I said, success is such a weird thing that we've defined it and been like, okay, well, you know, oh, you're an artist. Have I seen you in anything?
Right.
It's like, no, bitch.
You watch the Travel Channel?
Yes. No. Let me pull up this video of something I was in 16 years ago.
My mom filmed this for me.
It's like I've like had people that are, you know, oh, have you been in anything? And then I feel this need to like somehow justify it. And it's like, oh yeah, I've totally been into something. Let me pull up this like video that's so old, and I show it to them, and they're like, that's you? And I'm like, that's not the response you want.
Like, shit.
Like, yes, I once was young. I am now old. Thank you very much. Bodies change, people. Bodies change.
Hilarious.
So, and it's like, it's such a silly way of going about it. And again, it's just, it's tough because we've been conditioned so much, as I mentioned before, that, you know, go to school, 9 to 5, get the job, retire. And it's like, for some people, that's totally okay. And that's like the life that you want to live. And like, that's great. I believe for people like that are wannabe or are artists, it's like that's not the same formula you can apply to that for success, because even that, it's the easiest example, right? Some people will go to a museum or a gallery, see a piece of art and be like, oh, that's like very moving. Another person will go to it and be like, it's a fucking paint can that I can, like, or a soup can that like I can, you know what I mean? And it's like, there's just a different way of looking at something that's just like good or success. And like, what that good, like what does that mean?
Yeah.
Like good, like what, like an investor can like get in on it and like turn a profit, or like good that someone feels like they felt something looking at what you did, or whatever,
and shared it.
Or even just for myself as an act, because I do believe art is healing, a cathartic act of being like, no, this is something that I created.
Yeah, it's
and
an expression.
It's an expression. That's all this is.
Yes.
You know, so as terrible as that was, I'm gonna keep it. It's gonna be, you know, a reminder that the way that we get the way that we define success is not how it is for artists. We're a different breed. We're a cool breed.
Built different.
Built different. Built Ford tough. I don't think I could say
We're
Ford.
not sponsored by Ford.
We're not sponsored by Ford, but they're tough.
But we
as hell,
could
right?
be.
We could
Ford.
be. See the delivery I just gave you there, Ford? Come on. What are you going to get?
You'd be
Sam
good
Elliott?
voiceover. Yeah, exactly. You need Sam Elliott for. Do it for half price.
Canadian. Cheap.
That's right. Before we go, I want to ask you about your taking acting classes. Where, and tell us about them.
Oh my gosh. Okay, perfect. So I take...
I know.
I continue, despite the information I was given, I continue to act and do what I can as an artist. And I'm taking classes it's called MAP, Migichi Actor Practice.
Shout out.
It's a fantastic class. I recommend watching one of their videos to see, because for some people, some studios, same as agents, it's relationships. Some studios are appropriate for some people. And I just want to say in its defense, because when I've told Allison and other people where I am, they're like, oh.
Hey, it wasn't even me. It was a friend of ours.
Hey, let me do my thing. They're like, hey, is that place where you like roll around on the ground?
Hey, for the record, I did not say that, but I know who did. We'll keep it silent.
So there are reasons behind it. I'm not going to go into.
It's a more physical place.
It is a more physical place.
It does get you out of your, I'd say, comfort zone. I was going to say comfort zone, and then out of your
100%,
out of your head, more into your body.
I would say, and I don't know if Meredith would agree or appreciate this, but it's like my interpretation and the way that I view it is it's a way to get access to play again, and the joy that you have when you do get to collaborate with other artists and stuff like that. Now, there are elements to it which actually I find super helpful, right? Because when this person was like rolling around on the ground, I was like, listen, motherfucker. Like, that is a surface level interpretation of like actual really, really valuable lessons that you can apply to on set. I'll give two. One, so I can't even remember the exercise, but someone I know there was telling me about the audition that they booked, because it was like something I can't remember. They had to be a ghost, and the director at the audition was like throwing them these like more and more outrageous like ghost things. But this person, like the stuff that we do in class is like, it's like, oh, please, you need me to be a ghost like right now? Child's play. I'll be the craziest ghost you ever seen. He got it. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
how many times do we hear stories where it's like someone has to believe that it's like a werewolf is popping out at them or something like that, and it's a tennis ball. It's like a grip with like a person with a tennis ball is like, rawr, rawr. You know what I mean? Like, how many
guy with a glove.
Guy with a glove, right? And it's like, and you're like, oh no, I'm so scared. But if you're awkward in that moment, it's not gonna. Let's be real. It's
You're
not
not
gonna be
gonna-
good.
yeah, you're not
You know
gonna
what I
hit
mean? But if you can get to that level of access because of the practice that you do, that's fine. Another one that I feel, my last one that I feel like is important, is they do have a level of consent for intimacy, right? Like one of the rules that we say before like starting a scene is just like, you know, I'm okay with hugging, I'm okay with kissing, you know, today I'm not okay with kissing, or you know, you can touch my butt, like that kind of thing. It's just staying away from bikini zones, and no one's allowed to take off their underwear.
Right.
Pretty sure that's the rules, Meredith. So, and I remember back, way back before I was on set doing, it was a short film or something like that. It was this woman I never met before. It was a love story or something like that. And there was a moment where it was like an intimate, and it wasn't written in the script, but it was like an intimate moment where we're like really, really close together. And I remember the director even saying and being like, yes, and now you guys kiss. And like there was no discussion beforehand. I just met this woman. I do know that this person was more experienced than I was, more, let's say, professional in terms of like their resume and stuff like that.
Right.
So in my head, I'm like, should I stop and then be like, are you okay with it? And then I do that, and she's like, what are you stupid? Like you just ruined a perfectly good take. Like we're actors here, you know what I mean? Like I didn't know the rules.
Well, I think you're in the right, because that if you just did it, I wouldn't even be allowed now, because we have intimacy coordinators, etc. So
exactly.
And that's their role, is to figure out, okay, what's your comfort level? What's your comfort level? What does the director want? And then work all together so we're on the same page and supporting the story.
And to that point, even still, like, even, which is great, all that stuff is great. But say, for example, if you're someone like me who has had a bad habit in the past of like wanting to like please and like make yes, if you're on set and it's like a high pressure, you know, okay, and they get like, from what I've been told, they get like specific with like the amount of like intimacy. So in class, when you practice these rules, it gives you agency to be like, I'm okay with this, I'm not okay with that. And then when you're on set, you don't feel like I guess I should just say yes to everything because I'm a new actor and, you know,
Yes,
So
yeah, exactly.
I highly recommend this place. I think it's fantastic. It's taught me a bunch of good lessons. So if you're looking for acting classes to go to, MAP.
Yay! Excellent. And I have one final question for you.
What's up?
No, I have two. What would you tell
dirty
your
liar.
younger self?
What would I tell my younger
Yeah,
self?
when little Brennan found out he wanted to be an actor, when he growed up, what would you tell Will Brennan?
There's no shame in being wrong.
Ooh.
You know, it's especially when it comes to like collaborative art process. Being wrong or not knowing something is an opportunity to learn more and grow more.
Right. Yeah. I like that.
Approval from Allison.
I wasn't expecting to like that answer. No, I'm just kidding. No, I like that. Being okay. That's a good one.
Yeah.
I'm gonna write that down.
Please do.
Write it down. And my last question is for you. English is hard. My last question for you is, what would you call this chapter of your life?
Ooh, that's a tough one. New beginnings.
On The Price is Right. New beginnings.
I got a better one.
Okay.
And this is like less of a chat. Well, no, let's call it a tagline. Whatever. Endings are necessary for beginnings.
Yeah.
It's a shitty chapter
Every
title,
new
though.
ending, or every ending is a new beginning.
Every sunset is a sunrise.
Aw, somewhere.
Cut that.
Excellent. I like it. Well, thank you so much again for being on my podcast.
Of course.
and
Thank you for inviting me.
putting up with my abuse.
No, it was so much fun.